असे ते ह्याचे काढून ठेवते वाजून.
हा झालंय कनेक्ट.
हा माझा तर यायला लागलाय. विश्वनाथ सुरू करूया का मग? ओके. याच्यावर आहे का ते? झूम झूम
हा झूम वर आहे.
हॅलो हॅलो राजा,
हा बोल की.
ऐकू येतं ना?
ऐकू हो हो, तुला ऐकू येते का?
श्रीकांत,
हा येते, ऐकायला येते. येते सर, येते. चालू करा.
should we start then?
येस सर, येस. हो हो, वी शुड स्टार्ट.
Yeah. Vijay, should we
Yes,
start?
sir. Yes sir, yes sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the webinar on managing stress during COVID era. Before this corona epidemics, we have planned one workshop cum conference on mind-body medicine. But due to the corona epidemics, we have to postpone this. But now in this era of lockdown,
Yes, we are conducting it as a webinar.
yes, just a minute. My slides is not Prasad. Slide forward होत नाही. Just a minute. Slide I am. Yes. Now this era of COVID pandemic, this has brought a unprecedented situation in front of us. Nobody thought that such a condition will arise. This has caused a lot of social, psychological, economical, and affected all our life throughout the world. So this COVID pandemic has now become as a COVID era. From here, a new era we can say that is started. We are aware that COVID-19 has no definitive treatment. So only treatment available is social distancing. And to take care of social distancing, lockdown has been brought in. But lockdown itself has lot of problems. Especially we are accustomed to a life which is very fast. Whole day occupied with all appointments, meeting means completing targets. And now we have to accustom to a slow down life. So that brought lot of emotional and even social adjustments. Especially healthcare workers are exposed to more stress because we have to take care of ourselves, our patients, our family members, and our staff. So it needs a lot of emotional and physical stress. These days are very demanding. It due to the uncertainty and fear, it brings a lot of anxiety and it causes more stress, which makes to take decision difficult. So as a healthcare workers, this is a very difficult time. So this is due to the stress, and stress, we as are aware, is a more dangerous thing. What is stress? If one cannot cope with the demands of the life or feels inadequate or threatened, that results into the stress. And stress affects all our systems, all our body systems, starting from brain. It affect physical as well as mental. They say that stress is more dangerous for causing heart disease and cancer than cigarette smoking or cholesterol levels. We have to appreciate that body and mind are two sides of the coin, and they are intrinsically linked with each other, moment to moment, and one affect the other. Disease of the body affect our psychological state, and disease of the mind, they affect our physical status. Medical fraternity has only recently known, or it has recognized, that the effects of the stress. Chronic stress lead to chronic inflammation, which predisposes to obesity, hypertension, heart disease, asthma, irritable bowel syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis, acid peptic disease, PCOD, painful bladder syndrome. Means still lot of diseases are caused due to the chronic stress and chronic inflammation. Similarly, mental or psychological diseases like anxiety, irritability, insomnia, depression, panic disorders, burnout. So both physical and mental diseases are caused by the stress. So we are today in this webinar, we are going to discuss what is stress, how stress is caused, to understand pathophysiology of stress, what are effects of stress on the body, effects and deleterious effects of stress, and most important is how to overcome stress. For that, we are going to discuss meditation, and especially during this lockdown period, how to overcome boredom and irritability. So for this, we have a distinguished panel. My close friend, Dr. Milind Patwardhan, he is a consultant endocrinologist. He is the first endocrinologist in the Western Maharashtra, practicing for last 38 years. And he is doing immense work through the Madhumeh Jagruti months. This is an organization to make awareness in the society regarding diabetes, its prevention and treatment. And for that also, a magazine, Madhusaka, is published regularly for last so many years. Recently, he has a very keen interest in the body-mind relations. And he has published one book also, From Distress to Distress, means from stressful life to the stress-free life, finding grace. So he is the best person to know how the stress affects our endocrine system, our body, and he has a very vast study of this subject, as well as also important thing is has studied spirituality in great detail. Other faculty member is Dr. Srikant Pawar from Pune. He is a radiologist and he is working in the Pune from 1994 in various recognized institutes and medical colleges. But most exciting part about him is that he has a keen interest in the psychology. And so he has become member of British Psychological Society, certified course completed from Johns
request everyone to just wait because I think we have lost the connection. So Dr. Vishwanath is connecting soon. Tukaram, if you can hear me, can you please speak with doctor?
केलेलं आहे. माझं कसं बघ तुला ऐकत आहे ना नाही माझ्या तर ते म्युटेड बाय द होस्ट. Hello. If voice is audible, we can continue discussion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your voice is clear, audible, sir.
Okay, then I will start my talk, and after the video is available, then we'll show the slides.
Sure, sure. We can do that, sir.
It's okay with Magdum? Hello.
Sir,
What I was
actually, Dr. Magdum connection has been lost, so because of that, he's not able to connect, sir. But he's trying.
okay. Okay. I will start verbal presentation. You know.
Perfect, sir.
See, what I'm saying is, over the time we have evolved on this earth for millions of years. We have gone through the life facing various situations which can be called as stressful, because life is full of stress. And when the situation of stress comes in, our body has a survival mechanism or survival mode which can be said to get activated to show us the way to protect our health. There's a sort of stress response. So whenever our nervous system gets the signals from outside, something has happened here. Anyway, so what I was saying is, when you get to face the life, you have a mechanism which senses whether there is threat to your survival or not. And if the situation is threatful, you classify it as a stressful situation, and the body activates the stress response. What happens is, there is a nucleus called as amygdala, which perceives the stimuli, and it decides whether this is stressful or not. And if it is stressful, it sends the signals to hypothalamus to activate central sympathetic nervous system, and also release corticotropin releasing hormone, which in turn stimulates ACTH, which stimulates adrenal glands to produce cortisol. So we got two arms of stress response. One is through sympathetic nervous system, which produces all the symptoms of palpitation, tachypnea, tachycardia, breathlessness. And on the other hand, you get hypercortisolemia, which produces more energy for the oncoming events. Now, previously, when we were cave dwellers, you know. Hello?
Yes, Raj.
I think I will start presentation. So what I was discussing, that life is full of stress, and this is not new. Even in the era of Ramayana and Mahabharata, we have seen the events are stressful. But presently the situation is slightly different, or very much different. We got a new virus about which we don't know much. We don't have any vaccine, we don't have treatment, and therefore only treatment we are advising people is to lock themselves down, quarantine, social distancing, and this itself also has produced a lot of stressful conditions. So when we feel inadequate to cope up with the life's challenges, we experience stress. We feel threatened, our survival is threatened, our stress response is activated. So stress is any stimulus that disrupts or threatens the homeostatic balance. And stress response is mechanism that can restore the homeostatic process and promote the self-preservation through neurological, endocrinological, and immunological mechanisms. Now, previously our stress was predators or enemies, but now the stressors have changed. Your boss may be stressor, your spouse may be stressor, your work environment is a stressor, your daily hassles also, going for work, following the deadlines. So stresses are changing. All major life stressors and day-to-day hassles have become stressor. But our mechanism to respond to that stress is still the same which was there in the caveman's brain. So we still respond by sensing the stressor through amygdala assessing it to decide how stressful it is, and then body decides whether to fight the stress or run away from the stress. In females, oxytocin-based third stress response is found, and that is tend and befriend, which decreases the effect of stress in chronic stresses. Now, stress therefore activates sympathoadrenomedullary system and hypothalamus hypophyseal pituitary adrenal system. So you get hyperstimulation of adrenaline as well as cortisol. And these are the two major hormones. But again and again, I want to stress that it is you, that is your amygdala inside, which decides whether the given stressor is harmful enough, whether you should produce how much severe stress response or not. So stress response, cortisol, epinephrine, and immune modulations, they keep on producing all the changes. When you feel the acute stress, you activate the sympathetic system in seconds, cortisol system in minutes, CRH, ACTH, ABP are high, you get hypercortisolemia, but preserved diurnal variation. And usually such stress decreases once you either fight the stress or run away from the stress. But now the situation is that you can neither fight your stressor nor you can run away from the stressor. You have to just tolerate it. And that has produced what we call as very interesting modern situation, that is chronic stress response. You are chronically stressed. There is hypercortisolemia and loss of diurnal rhythm of or circadian rhythm of cortisol secretion. There is an alteration in the cortisol metabolism. The levels of variety of neurohormones are altered, and sensitivity of the tissues to the cortisol is altered. So what you get is stress response. As I said, acute response is in the form of acute changes, which are tachypnea, tachycardia, certain muscle tautness or fibromyalgia-like symptoms. And chronic are actually mediated through metabolic and immunological system. That is, you get hyperglycemia amounting to the metabolic syndrome or diabetes mellitus. You get hypertension. You can get precipitation of ischemic heart disease. You can precipitate an asthmatic attack. So all this is explainable on the basis of sympathetic overstimulation and hypercortisolemia induced metabolic and immunological changes. Dr. Herbert Benson thought that if body has got stress response mediated through sympathetic autonomic nervous system, there must be something which, when stimulated, activates the parasympathetic nervous system and which can relieve the stress response or side effects of the stress. And that is called as relaxation response. The stress, when it is manageable, we call it eustress or a challenge. But when it becomes unmanageable, we call it distress. And distress affects your body, your mind, your emotions, and behavior. So that you start getting at bodily level headaches, frequent infections, taut muscles or fibromyalgias, muscular twitchings, fatigability, skin irritations. At mind level, you start worrying continuously. Your attention is reduced, focusing is reduced, thinking is altered, judgment is altered, your sleep is reduced, you become negative, you start taking hasty decisions. At emotional level, you lose your confidence, you become more fussy, you become depressed, you become apathetic. And at behavioral level, you become accident prone, you lose your appetite, you lose your libido, you start becoming substance abuser, you drink more, you smoke more, you start taking sleeping pills. So your anxiety, depression, fatigue, social withdrawal, decreased concentration, diminished libido, moodiness or temperamentalness, insomnia, migraines, variety of health problems like depression, rheumatoid arthritis, cancers, diabetes, hypertension, ischemic heart disease, all are related to chronic stress situation. Ideally, you should remove the stressor, but which is not always possible. So you should protect yourself. That's what the government is telling you. That stay home and stay healthy. Take care. Be aware of the symptoms and signs of stress. It may present as anxiety, panics, palpitation, breathlessness, or chronic stress, like which we said, metabolic and immunological alterations. And psychological stress, depression, insomnia, suicidal tendencies. So the acute effects of the stress are seen by the person immediately as a sympathetic overdrive, and they are manageable by parasympathetic activation. While to avoid the effects of chronic stress, you have to change yourself. You have to change your thinking style, your lifestyle, increase your social support system. You have to invent a higher power to which you can surrender yourself. Now, I'm not going into details of all the things because they will be covered by subsequent speakers. But what I will emphasize is that a nutritious diet, adequate sleep, regular exercise are the three most important strategies to combat stress. Exercise is a must for you because all the energy which is motivated during the stress response is accumulated. Muscles are tight. So if you exercise, utilize that energy, your blood sugar level will be normalized, your BP will come down, your muscles will be relaxed. Second important thing is during stress, you become shallow breather. You become chest bounded breather. So you have to relearn deep abdominal diaphragmatic breathing. It is taught to the patients easily. You can ask the patient to keep one hand on the abdomen, one on the chest, and ask him to imagine that there is a balloon in the abdomen, which he has to fill in by taking deep, slow breath and imagining that the balloon is getting inflated. So the abdominal hand on the abdomen starts rising. And then afterwards, when the balloon is full in 5 to 6 seconds, you have to exhale it through the pursed lips, that is through mouth, very slowly, counting 8, 9, or up to even 10. So this slow, deep abdominal breathing, about 5 to 10 times, activates the parasympathetic system and starts releasing your symptoms of sympathetic overdrive. Another important thing which can stimulate parasympathetic system is progressive muscular relaxation. Nearly 100 years ago, Jacobson invented this. And what you have to do is different groups of muscles are to be contracted for 5 to 10 seconds and then relaxed, released for 10 to 20 seconds. You have to mentally experience both the contraction and relaxation and associate the relaxation with the parasympathetic stimulation so that you can at any time later on, whenever required, you can produce the release of muscle tension. Dr. Magdum will be talking about mindfulness and meditation, that is observing the observer. So I will not cover much, but some other things are ecotherapy. That is, you go into the nature. But unfortunately, we are in lockdown. So what you can do is see the images of nature because the brain doesn't know whether you are actually seeing reality or images. So you get the same benefit of seeing the images of nature. You can join a laughter club or hasya club because laughing produces a release of endorphins and oxytocin and reduces the stress response. So it's an interesting thing that even non-humorous laughter can produce better release of endorphin. Similarly, music therapy, which relaxes you completely, whatever type of music which you like, and forget yourself while listening to. Then having pets with a non-verbal communication with the pet and unconditional love coming from the pets also reduces your stress. Getting a good body massage, going to the friends, having a good social circle, getting outside, But again, during lockdown, you increase your friendships through WhatsApp and Facebook, I think. And lastly, which Dr. Shrikant is going to tackle is cognitive behavioral therapy. That is how you alter your thinking. Because stress is not what happens to us. It is our response to what is happening. And therefore you can change your response. You can choose different response by seeing the perspective of it. And lastly, you have to accept that there is some higher power which is controlling all this universe. Why not surrender to it, pray to it, and get the confidence of protection from the higher power, which gives you a learned optimism and gives you stress hardiness or resilience. So with all this, I would say that we have to cover this in future topics. So I stop here and we come back to this particular topic during question answer if there is time. Thank you. Thank you, Makdum, for inviting me.
Thank you. Hello.
Do you want to start immediately or you wait?
Oh, yes, immediately, no? Yeah, and then we'll
It
take
can be done. All questions in the end, you know.
end way. Yeah. Are you able to listen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Putodhan, for very nice explanation how stress is caused. And you have told some methods to overcome stress. Now only I am going to concentrate on the most important aspect is meditation. Yeah. Our government has, or Ministry of Ayush has recommended daily practice of yogasana, pranayam and meditation for at least 30 minutes. So this is a guideline from Ministry of Ayush. Meditation. What is meditation? Meditation, our brain produces 50 to 60 thousands of thoughts every day. And mind is nothing but this is chain of thoughts. But our mind has habit of wandering, constantly chattering, commenting, criticizing, and never happy. At the same time, mind is always lost in the past or future. We call that mind is called crazy monkey because the thoughts which are continuously irritating, frustrating, and negative thoughts cause a anxiety and irritability in mind, but we can't stop them. So to reduce these thoughts, make the mind quiet, meditation is required. What meditation does, it reduces the frequency and intensity of the thoughts. It brings the reduces the unwanted thoughts, bring the thoughts which we want them. At the same time, increase the gap between two thoughts. Being conscious of this gap is known as awareness. So meditation improves the or increases this awareness, which is very important. All meditations are to increase this awareness and bring the, this is always possible in the present moment or here and now. So in short, meditation is appointment with God. It is a listening to the God, or you can call it as higher power. Prayer is talking or asking something, but meditation is listening, and this is very important, and it gives the answers to your prayers or to your listening. There will be definitely answers. So what are the different types of meditations? Mindful meditation is most commonly and well known all over the world. We are going to see in the detail, but before that, Vipassana. This is brought by Mr. Goenka in the India, and part of this Vipassana is meta meditation, means spreading or throwing good thoughts to others. So mindful meditation and meta meditation are the parts of Vipassana as such. So you can call mindful meditation as a revised and a different sort of edition of the Vipassana. Transcendental meditation is popularized by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Here, what analogy is given is of ocean. On the ocean, on surface, there are a lot of turbulence, lot of waves are there. But deep down, the sea is always still or silent. So similarly, our mind is on the surface very irritable, but we have to transcend or go deep down. And how it is done? With the help of the mantra or some word. They give some mantra, and with that you go down where you will find silence, stillness, happiness, bliss, So this is sort of a simple meditation, also very popular. Then other meditation is chakra meditation. In this, there are 7 chakras or 7 energy levels, energy points, focal points, and you have to focus on that chakra, and that chakra has color and quality, means some quality like compassion, love. So on focusing on that chakra, you develop that quality in yourself. Then the most important is yoga. For majority of us, yoga means only asana and pranayam. But Patanjali is never thought of in that way. He first introduced rules and regulation we call yama niyama, means, and then there will be pratyahar sadhana, means dhyan dharana, means dhyan means meditation, which comes very late. So to practice meditation, one has to be live a life which is a very honest, ethical, and moral life, and then only you can progress in meditation. So without a ethical life, meditation or has no value. So we have to understand that just sitting only for half an hour is not going to sort out the all problems in the life. Then coming to the mindfulness. Mindfulness is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. What is mindful meditation? Mindful meditation is a Western non-sectarian, means not confined to any religion. Research based from Jan Kabat is a form of meditation derived from a 2005 years Buddhist practice called Vipassana, as I told that. It is gift of the Gautam Buddha to God, and we have unfortunately forgotten this gift. It is a form of meditation designed to develop the skill of paying attention to our inner and outer experiences with acceptance, patience, and compassion. These are very important. We have to accept whatever experiences we get. So, this Gautam Buddha has given this meditation 2005 years back in the form of Vipassana. So, here the basic thing is that live in the present. Don't bother about the past or future. Don't worry about them. Enjoy the road or journey and not the destination. That is the message. We are always worried about the destination. Mindful is a quality which everybody has got, but we have forgotten this quality. So this is very important, and this needs to be cultivated, developed. Mindfulness is awareness that not thinking. You have to be very careful. It is not thinking that, but it is aware of thinking. This is very important. So you have to be aware of thought process, as well as aware of each of the other way we experience the sensory world. Means not only thought, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, feeling through our body. So all these things we have to take into consideration while practicing mindful meditation. And most important is mindfulness is non-judgmental, open-hearted, friendly, and inviting of the whatever arises in awareness. We should not discriminate good or bad thoughts like that. It is cultivated by paying attention on purpose deeply and without judgment or whatever arises in the present moment, either inside or outside. We are accustomed to a life what we can call as a mechanical sort of, means we take lunch but we don't know what we have eaten. We drive but we don't know how we have traveled. So this is called as a automatic pilot mode. All our life is occupied by this. By intentionally practicing mindfulness, deliberately paying more careful moment to moment attention, individual can live more fully and less on the automatic mode. So this is important. We are forgotten that we have to be very attentive. Whatever we do, we have to be aware of that. But we don't do. We go on doing things mechanically. So how mindfulness should be practiced? Here, the breath is taken as a object of awareness. We follow the physical sensations of the breath as it flows in and out of the body. We allow the breath to flow naturally, means we should not control it without controlling it as we do in the breathing exercises. We simply hold the sensation of breath in our field of awareness. So you can sit for 5 minutes to start with. Sit with the spine erect, straight. Notice then the concentrate on the breath as it flows, mean on inhalation and elation, and you will find that your mind will grow crazy, go on wandering. So again, bring that mind to your attention without getting frustrated. So this is a sort of practice, a formal practice we have to do. So this sort of practice is important to make the mind calm and increase the awareness. Here breath is the anchor. Breath is your. So how much meditation we have to do? I say that to start with 5 minutes is enough. But this is not a this is very simple. Mindfulness is simple but not easy. You have to understand that though simple, it is not easy. Zen principle, they say that you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes every day. Unless you are too busy, then you should sit for an hour, means at least 20 minutes, and if you are very busy, more. Informal mindfulness, the best part of the mindfulness is that not only during the 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but whole day you can practice this doing your daily routine, like washing plates, brushing, walking, taking food. You can practice this mindfulness. We are accustomed to what we can call as a multitasking. We are doing so many to save the time. We say that while seeing the TV, we take the food, take the mobile. But Zen principle is that you do one activity at a time. So how do I bring more mindfulness into my life? Means all your daily activities can be done mindful manner. In the era of now, it is a lockdown, and to take care of the coronavirus, we have to wash the hand. So mindfully, how you can wash the hand? Bring awareness to physical sensation of hot water and soap. Or all activities while doing what they call it is a stop principle. Means stop what you are doing. Take few breaths, observe, and then proceed for the next activity. So every now and then, you required is what is you can call as a pause button. Stop, observe, aware what you are doing. Give attention to whatever you are doing. Full attention. That is very important, and that improves our quality of life. So what are the benefits of mindful meditation? It sharpens your attention, increase resilience to stress, increase compassion, improve mental health, reduce many kinds of bias. Always we are biased toward the so many things. Improve your relationship, your partner, working place, society. Elevated your immune system. It decreases the cortisol level, less frequency and duration of illnesses, improves management of pain, decrease due to cortisol, reduces the blood pressure, improves sleep and digestion, increase energy, improve your mental function, intelligence and memory, decision giving capacity improved, resilience to change. We have to accept the change, aid in smoking cessation efforts, and even it affect the gene expression, what we call as a neuroplasticity. In short, mindfulness has immense benefits. So this has called as a mindful revolution in the mental health care, to combat loneliness, transforming end of life care, and in the war front, where there is a post-stress trauma in schools, corporate life. 10 to 15% of the US population practices mindfulness. So it has brought as a mindful revolution all over the world. And the benefits are physical, mental. All these are beyond even our imagination. And is there any scientific evidence? Yes, lot of study. As such, this mindfulness, which is promoted by MBSR, mind body state response, is a physician, and there are more than 1500 studies which show that mindful meditation is effective in management of stress, anxiety, panic, chronic pain, depression, obsessive thinking. Stress reduction studies, there are, it reduces stress in 35% in medical symptoms and 40% in physical symptoms also. Mind, again I will repeat that mind and body are intrinsically linked and they are second by second interaction. This is very important. Every second they are interacting, which a profound influence upon health, illness and life and death. We have forgotten up to now only mental health. We are concentrated only on the physical diseases. So mindful stress reduction, the 6 most important causes like heart disease, cancer, lung accidents, cirrhosis of liver and suicide, which are cause of death, all they are caused or contributed by the stress. So chronic health, Dr. Patwardhan has told how chronic the stress causes these diseases. So managing stress in modern life through what is required is regular daily practice of mindfulness. Meditation, we can completely change our relation to stressors while at the same time greatly reducing the adverse effects of chronic stress. Every time we sit to meditate, we are actively supporting and promoting our own health, well-being in heart, mind and body. So in the era of COVID era, what Gautam Buddha has said is the be your own torch, Atta Deepo Bhava. Means in this darkness of the COVID, one has to be find meditation, go inside, and then only you can find. Swami Vivekananda said that you have to grow from inside out. None can teach you, none can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. So meditation is going to be very useful in a difficult time in the COVID era. Thank you. Then I request Dr. Srikant Pawar to proceed with his talk.
Thank you, sir. Hello. Good afternoon,
Yes.
everybody. Should I start, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me thank Dr. Vishwanath Magdum, sir, and Dr. Milind Patwardhan, sir, for giving me an opportunity to speak before you. I will be speaking on the topic life in lockdown, taking care of yourself. Now, few days are over in the lockdown, and we have seen that different people react to the lockdown in different ways. Some people get bored, some feel irritability, some feel lethargic. Few people have disturbed sleep pattern, and few have disturbed eating pattern. However, majority of the people have well adjusted to the change and they follow normal lifestyle. But we should all remember that this is a temporary phase. Soon this phase will be over, and then we will be welcoming the new life. But during this temporary phase, we should maintain our mind and body active and pleasant. And it should be maintained in such a way that when the new phase comes, after the lockdown is over, we should have an active mind and active body. Now, I'll be covering up different aspects of the life and how the lockdown has changed, or how the impact of lockdown will be on different aspects of the life. Now, the main aspects of life are first physical, second is mental, emotional, or thinking process. Third is environmental. Fourth is relationship and social life.
साऊंड त्यांचा हे होतोय जरा ते
आवाज मोठा करू का?
आवाज थोडा हे होतोय.
Sir, if
हा,
you
आता येतोय
can,
का?
if you
yes.
can, yeah, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now, main aspects of the life are physical, mental,
Yes.
emotional thinking process. Third is environmental. The fourth is relationship and social life. Fifth is work, vocation, or career. The sixth aspect is financial. Seventh is spiritual. In eighth aspect, I will be covering the pleasant things in the life, and ninth will cover the other minor aspects of life. Coming to the physical part of the life. To have a good day, you should plan a day properly. When you start your day, when you end your day, if a fixed routine is there, then body's circadian rhythm is in place. It will have good effect on the body. A disturbed sleep, a disturbed day will lower your immunity, which you don't want during this period of COVID era. Now, when you are planning a day, you should give it time for exercise, for sleep, for rest, diet, meditation, affirmation, self-talk, and little bit time should be spared for journaling and gratitude. Coming to the exercise, being in lockdown, we cannot go outside, we cannot go to the gym, we cannot go to the swimming pool. Inside the home only, you can have walk, you can do jogging, you can do yoga, pilates, exercises using dumbbells or home gym, etc. Or you can do exercises which are bodyweight exercises, which can be done without use of any instrument. Sleep. Sleep forms important part of your health. Minimum of 6 to 8 hours of sleep is required. If you find it's comfortable, a short nap of 20 minutes maximum is welcome during the afternoon. Rest periods are required to be interspersed between the different activities.
Shrikant, there is some audio problem. Is
Audio येतोय का?
जरा
थोडंसं लांब घेऊ.
हां.
जवळ.
Sir,
आता येतोय का?
your voice is loud, but after you speak, there is an echo. So because
Echo,
of that,
अच्छा.
it is
Now echo is normal.
yeah. Now it is fine. Now,
Yes, I want to placing of the microphone. Is it okay now?
Yes.
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 Meditation. The sir has spoken extensively on meditation. Affirmations. Affirmations play a major role in our day-to-day life. A simple affirmation like every day, in every way, I am becoming better and better is a good affirmation for general purpose. Self-talk has also an important impact on your mental health. Some people, when they get irritated, they say that, see, I'm unfortunate to be in lockdown. But when you will compare with the people who are on the border defending our country, the soldiers, they are in the lockdown 24/7 and in a hostile environment. Or when we think of the migrant laborers now who are locked in different government shelter houses, we are fortunate enough to have home as a lockdown resident. If you will change this setup from that part to the next part, you will feel better and your mental health will be better. We should have some time for journaling and gratitude. Journaling means writing down what is working for you, what is not working for you. And you should have time for expressing gratitude. It has been observed scientifically that those persons who offer gratitude or feel gratitude for the things they have got in their life have better mental health. Now coming to the mental, emotional or thinking process part of the life. The way you think changes the impact on your mind. If on a cloudy rainy day, someone sees that the dark clouds and feels gloomy, then if other person looks at the rainbow, then his life will be better. A cognitive reframing will change an irritable person to a relaxed and happy person. Mind shift during pandemic. If you change the thinking process, you will have a better mental health. If the thought comes that I am stuck at home, if the thought, you will be unhappy. But if that thought changes that I get to be safe in my home and I can spend time with my family, you will feel better. If the thought comes that I will be sick, you will feel unhappy. But if the change, the same situation, for the same situation, if you think that I will self-isolate and wash my hands, and this will significantly decrease my chances of getting sick, you will feel better. The thought that I will run out of the items at home during self-isolation will be depressing. But changing that thought to the thought that I have prepared for this and I will use my items wisely, and I have everything which I need now, will be better for your mental health. Similarly, everything is shutting down and I am panicking. This thought should be replaced with the most important places such as medical centers. The most important places such as medical centers, pharmacies, grocery stores are still open will give peace of mind. The thought that there is too much uncertainty right now will depress you. But if you think that I can't control the situation around me, I can control few things, and I can control my actions, and I will live thinking, taking depression about the things which I cannot control. If you have this type of discriminatory thinking, then your mental health will be better. Secondly, you have to cut down on negativity. Lot of news on the TV is full of negativity. Try to minimize on that. Just taking news 2 times a day is enough. Cut down on the negative people around you. Cut down on negative websites, negative TV programs, and social media sites. You have to replace with positive interaction. You can talk to the people who are positive. You have talk with the friends who are positive. You can see the good TV shows. You can see good movies. You can visit positively oriented TV programs. Coming to the environmental aspect. Environmental aspect consists of cleaning and rearranging the corona specific instructions. Now, cleaning the house and rearranging the things. Now you have got a free time, so you can clean your house. You can rearrange the things. You can clean the cupboard. This will also make your a good time pass for you. And when you will take your family members with you for that, then it will be also a good time for bonding. In that also comes the corona specific instructions of putting on the mask, then washing the hands after coming from outside, social distancing to be implemented when you go outside. Coming to the relationship and social interaction. When you are in family, try to do as many things as together, like cooking, washing, etc. If it is not possible for you to be together physically, then online contact also gives a similar type of feel-good effect. You can talk with your friends, relatives, you can play games online with your friends. For social aspect, you can help the senior citizens to get their groceries, meals, etc. You can help the people who are in need by providing with food or financial help as is required. Or you can volunteer for your work in your housing society as is required by the society
Shrikant,
management. बोला सर आवाज परत
audio तो you keep the microphone stable.
अच्छा हाँ आता ठीक आहे का सर
Okay, go ahead.
आता हाँ coming to the work, vocation or career. If you have got a study material at home, you can study properly, or you can opt for online courses or webinars. You can read non-fiction books, which will help in your development of your work or vocation, such as time management, negotiation skills, how to study better, etc. You have got a free time. Now you can use this time to think about and work on your expansion of your clinic or getting new skills or buying new machines. All the information can be obtained online or by discussing with your professional colleagues. Coming to the financial aspect. You have got a free time. Now you can study about the share market and mutual funds. You can take stock of your finances. It is inevitable that some recession will come after this pandemic is over. You can plan for the oncoming recession during this free time. You can make will and nominations for your family. You should keep all financial documents and passwords in one place. Now this is the time to do that, so that you can inform your spouse or some other significant family member to take care of all these things in cases of emergency. Coming to the spiritual aspect, you can read the scriptures or you can see the spiritual videos and discourses online or on TV, or you can join the WhatsApp or Facebook groups and spiritual things. Then you can go for pleasant things. You can prepare good food, take extra sleep, you can see entertaining movies, you can read novels, do aromatherapy, you can dance to the videos, or you can look at the funny and cute pictures on web. Coming to the other aspect. Now, as you have got a free time, you can contemplate on life as a whole. What you have done good, what you have done bad, what things need to be improved. You can plan for the future. Though the life doesn't unfold as you plan, but having thought of future events, you can plan the life when it comes in a certain manner, and you are prepared for any eventuality. At the same time, if you are getting distressed, you should learn to let go of the things. You can make a list and let go of the things which are not required. You should keep the realistic expectations. You can learn new skills such as music, writing novels, composing, painting, etc. Or you can make the plans for upcoming trips, events, and parties during this free time. This will make your whole life relaxed during the lockdown period. This is the end of my session. Now I am coming to my final take-home message. My final take-home message is: we are not stuck at home. We are blessed to be at home. We are not stuck at the home, but we are blessed to be at home. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for patient hearing, and thank you for attending my session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shrikant.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very informative and very useful talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those words.
Yeah. So anybody who want to have some questions answer or have their views, you are welcome. From participants, we want some comments, questions, answers are welcome.
I just wanted to add one thing.
Yes.
We have this Shri Shri Ravi Shankar sessions going on daily. They are live
yes.
on Facebook. So one is at 12 p.m. in the noon, and one is at 7:30 p.m. In the evening. I found them very helpful actually. So you all can join them.
Oh, yes.
Means men interested in meditation here, so thought of sharing it.
Yeah. Nice. Thank
and
you.
this session was really good. The way it impact on the hormones was explained, and the importance of meditation, and even the tips what we can do to stay fit in the corona times. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Patwardhan?
Actually, I was going to summarize, that
Yes.
we discussed in the beginning how our life is full of stress and how stress affects us through neurological, endocrinological, and immunological modifications. And it perpetuates, it becomes a chronic stress, and that is responsible for a variety of diseases. So we discussed to reduce the chronic stress, what we can do. So one of the factor was what Dr. Magdum said, mindfulness and meditation, then yoga. Then Dr. Shrikant told about changing your thinking pattern, what you can, do beneficial activities in the lockdown. All this can be taken as in different perspective. And we hope that soon, say in few months, lockdown will be, removed and we'll be back to normal life. And you can start planning for that life also.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Dr. Vijay Sawan.
Yes. Yes, Vijay, go ahead.
One of the points just I want to stress that in this period, we can spend more time on your hobbies.
Yes.
Many of my friends are, hello?
Yes, we are listening. Go ahead.
Many of my friends are those who are many times busy in their hospitals. They are doing the cooking, then they are producing some good music. Myself is drawing many of the pictures, cartooning. Such time can be beneficial in this this lockdown period. And another point is exercises. You all stressed over that even though you are at home, you can spend more time on exercises so that this lockdown period when this lockdown period is over, at that time you will be benefited from this.
Yes.
Another point, just I want to ask all the speakers is what will be the effect of the society after this lockdown is lifted? That I just want to take some guidance from you. What will be the effect on the society of this lockdown?
Thank you, Vijay. Very nice. You added hobbies, how can change your period during lockdown. Even after lockdown is over, the things are not going to start routinely. That's why I said that this is going to be a COVID era, and it has lot of means whatever our practice previously before this COVID era is going to change. It has social, psychological, financial aspects. So even our traveling will change, as we are aware that our conferences, they are going to change. They are going to be webinars, virtual conferences. Our patient pattern also, how we see the patient pattern. Telemedicine is going to come in a big way.
Okay.
So this is what I want to convey is that even lockdown is over, the COVID era is not going to subside. Even infection may come again, and we have to adjust living in a different style what we were previously living. So we have to change our lifestyle totally. Dr. Patwardhan, Milind has to add something.
I agree with you that even if we start, government starts slowly decreasing the, lockout, we are not going to come back to as we were before COVID era, at least for 2-3 years. That is the truth.
Yes,
It
yes,
takes time for developing herd immunity. About 50% of the people have to undergo some sort of minor or major infection. There will be some mortalities, and people have to change their habits. After lockout or lockdown, we still have to maintain good hygiene, this social distancing, washing techniques, and if by chance vaccine is available, then start taking vaccine. But otherwise, life will not be immediately normal. That government is not going to declare that from tomorrow everything is normal, so come out. We have to get used to this idea of social distancing.
yeah.
Hello.
Srikant,
Srikant, you want?
Sir, I think that with this lockdown, people are being used to have minimalistic lifestyle. Now they know how much money is required, where they have to concentrate. So they'll be better people oriented, because when the some calamity comes, people start to help each other. So there might be some positive changes also will be seen, and they will know the importance of family also.
yeah.
People have already realized that we are damaging nature and we should
Right.
start eco conservation,
Yeah, yeah.
because this is one of the result of all tremendous competition, population,
Yes.
and pollution. Everything put together, somewhere it was going to burst.
Yeah.
So it has come out like this.
Yeah. As such, this virus is a non-living organism. It is a that way called as a nirgun we can call. But how it has affected our life? So we have to be very, while we have living, we have to be take care of even nirgun things also. What we call means nature. So many other things we have to be very careful about them, and we have to awaken in ourselves how to protect, preserve, conserve. All these things we have to learn from this. So COVID pandemic has going to, we have to take as an opportunity and change our lifestyle. Any other questions? Dr. Amar Singh, he is a,
But Singh was there, yes.
yes, we are seeing him. Yes, he is a psychiatrist. He can add to our.
So I have listened to
Yes.
three of your speakers.
Yes.
They have given very good experience and the way of living, how to live in this COVID-19 period.
Yes.
That is important. Also, it will affect mind and body. That is also stressed by people. And I got a great knowledge how to cope up the stress, acute and chronic also. Very nice lecture. Only Dr. Pawar has got some difficulties in broadcasting it.
Yeah.
So, but he has given all the points which we read. So this is very nice. Thank you for your good lecture.
Dr. Patil is a psychiatrist, so there he has a big role to play in
Yes,
this
yes.
now COVID pandemic. Yes, anybody? Yes,
Hello.
yes, go ahead.
Myself, I'm Dr. Bhagyashree Verma from Mumbai, Andheri.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was very pleased to listen to all three of the very respected honorable speakers. It was very interesting to hear this. I would suggest this one for the how to go through this pandemic period. One can do as you have all taken all the points for the being as a meditations and all, but at the same time one has to be a very positive approach has to be kept it in overall this one. That is very important, what I has learned from this today's seminar. It was very interesting.
thank you, thank you.
Hello.
Yes,
Okay, we got it. Yes.
yeah. So as a final conclusion, Dr. Patwardhan, add to something?
So I would say that people should be aware that this situation is stressful, and they should be aware to the symptoms and signs of stress which we emphasized. Getting fatigability, muscle cramps, apathy, loss of libido, lack of appetite. I mean, so many things which affect your behavior, your emotions, your mental function, and bodily symptoms. So once you are aware of it, then you should start taking measures to combat that. And for that, you should regularly do deep breathing exercises, progressive muscular relaxation, mindfulness meditation, and reappraisal of our life, reframing of our priorities, and thinking in positive ways, positive terms. All this is going to help us in long term. I think that is what was being emphasized again and again.
Thank you. Thank you. Srikant, you want to add some final words? Srikant, able to hear?
Probably not connected. So we
Okay.
sincerely thank you, Dr. Magdum, for organizing this. And we look forward
No,
if you arrange second something like that.
yeah, that's what I was going. Within this short time, it is not possible to cover all aspects, especially as Dr. Patwardhan has said that regarding muscular relaxation, laughter therapy, yogasana, and so many other aspects. So we'll take one more session within this during pandemic only. So because our planned seminar is not possible now. So we'll have one more webinar where we can discuss remaining aspects of this corona means pandemic. If there are no questions, should we conclude?
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
one more question, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
What the common man thinks now that after this pandemic period is over, that everything is all right. So it is the big responsibility of all the healthcare system, not only the doctors.
Yeah.
All the healthcare system starts from the central government, state government, and the PHC level, RH level, and all these hospitals to convey the message of all this about the cleanliness and not this keeping distances. That will be a long-term period. We have to keep all these things. So this has to be percolated in our population.
Yes, that is very.
That is one of the points.
Yes, very important, Vijay, because things are not going to come to normalcy immediately, and the whatever the corona epidemic has brought, it is going to stay for a long time till the vaccine comes or say something definitive cure comes. So during that time, we have to be very aware. We have to be very attentive.
So congratulations to you all your team that you have done a fantastic job of
Oh, yes.
conducting this webinar. We had heard many things which were actually necessary in this period. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I
Thank-
may, if I may
Hi.
speak about also, this is Virendra Naik. I'm from Mumbai, but I'm actually not a doctor, but I'm a teacher at the Iyengar Yoga Institute in Pune.
Yes, yes. It's very nice.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate such a session because this is very, very useful. And these are exactly the same points that we've been trying to convey to people, and try to have as many sessions as possible so that people are at least have some activity internally here. As Prashant Iyengar just quoted, he said this is a good time for internal social networking. So
Yeah.
it is a good time to have the exploration that we have for internal social networking that we can go about. So I really appreciate this, sir, that you took up this session that we have, and it's very, very informative, number one. And it also makes us think, and it also makes us ponder over thoughts which we usually don't ponder but slip into directly. So that's very, very important for us right now. And thank you so much for that session.
Thank you. Thank you, Naik. Yeah. Before conclude, we must thank to the Alembic Pharma, especially Vijay Pal and Tukaram. Huh?
Thank you.
Without their help, it was not possible. During this lockdown period, they have come forward and they have given us opportunity to communicate. So I express my sincere thanks to both of them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Magdum, this is Suresh Tripathi from Mumbai.
Yes. You have to comment anything? You have to add something?
Sir, I am from Alembic only. I am Vijay Pal's colleague. I wanted to thank you for your for all your consideration and maybe going a step ahead. You know, after doing a lot of services to the body, thinking of even mind also. Being a medico, when you were coming and teaching on that, probably is going to be even more louder. And normally I keep on saying, sir, this is something which is very close to me, this topic itself. And I say that when you cannot go outside, this is the best time to go inside. So probably this is something one has to look into that. Thanks for all three of you, in fact, the speaker, and putting out your thoughts and way actionables, how they can cope up, how people can cope up this problem, being into lockdown. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
So with that, we conclude, I think. Yeah.
So we are looking forward for one more session like this.
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes. With the help of Alembic, that can be possible, definitely.
Yes, very much. Sir. We are there.
Yes, sir. We'll next time we will have some different agenda. We'll discuss. We'll plan definitely. Thank you once again for all our colleagues, all our audience, and Alembic people. Thanks once again. Thank you.
Thank you.